We are not rich by what we possess, but by what we can do without. He who is cruel to animals becomes hard also in his dealings with men. We can judge the heart of a man by his treatment of animals. Act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in the person of any other, never merely as a means to an end, but always at the same time as an end. Enlightenment is man's release from his self-incurred tutelage. Tutelage is man's inability to make use of his understandings without direction from another. Self-incurred is this tutelage when it causes lies, not in lack of reason, but in lack of resolution and courage to use it without direction from another. Have courage to use your own reason. That is the motto of enlightenment. Look closely. The beautiful may be small. I had to deny knowledge in order to make room for faith. Two things fill the mind with ever-increasing wonder and awe. The more often and the more intensely the mind of thought is drawn to them, the starry heavens above me and the moral law within me. Dare to think. One who makes himself a worm cannot complain afterwards if people step on him. All our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. There is nothing higher than reason. Whereas the beautiful is limited, the sublime is limitless, so that the mind, in the presence of the sublime, attempting to imagine what it cannot, has pain in the failure, but pleasure in contemplating the immensity of the attempt. For peace to reign on earth, humans must evolve into new beings who have learned to see the whole first. Rules for happiness: something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. Out of the crooked timber of humanity, no straight thing was ever made. Seek not the favor of the multitude. It is seldom got by honest and lawful means. But seek the testimony of few, and number not voices, but weigh them. The busier we are, the more acutely we feel that we live, the more conscious we are of life. Genius is the ability to independently arrive at and understand concepts that would normally have to be taught by another person. Laziness and cowardice are the reasons why so great a portion of mankind, after nature has long since discharged them from external direction, nevertheless remains under lifelong tutelage, and why it is so easy for others to set themselves up as their guardians. It is so easy not to be of age. If I have a book which understands for me, a pastor who has a conscience for me, a physician who decides my diet, and so forth, I need not trouble myself. I need not think. If I can pay, others will easily undertake the irksome work for me. That the step to competence is held to be very dangerous by the far greater portion of mankind. The death of dogma is the birth of morality. But only he who himself enlightened is not afraid of shadows. Space and time are the framework within which the mind is constrained to construct its experience of reality. Thoughts without content are empty. Intuitions without concepts are blind. Have patience a while. Slanderers are not long-lived. Truth is the child of time. Eventually, she shall appear to vindicate you. Dare to know. Have the courage to use your own intelligence. The reading of all good books is like a conversation with the finest minds of past centuries. But to unite in a permanent religious institution, which is not to be subject to doubt before the public even in the lifetime of one man, and thereby to make a period of time fruitless in the progress of mankind towards improvement, thus working to the disadvantage of posterity, that is absolutely forbidden. For himself, and only for a short time, a man may postpone enlightenment in what he ought to know, but to renounce it for posterity is to injure and trample on the rights of mankind. Man must be disciplined, for he is by nature raw and wild. Skepticism is thus a resting place for human reason, where it can reflect upon its dogmatic wanderings and make survey of the region in which it finds itself, so that for the future it may be able to choose its path with more certainty. But it is no dwelling place for permanent settlement. Such can be obtained only through perfect certainty in our knowledge, alike of the objects themselves and of the limits within which all our knowledge of objects is enclosed. If the truth shall kill them, let them die. How then is perfection to be sought? Wherein lies our hope? In education and in nothing else. Act only according to that maxim whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. The light dove, in free flight, cutting through the air, the resistance of which it feels, could get the idea that it could do even better in airless space. Likewise, Plato abandoned the world of senses because it posed so many hindrances for the understanding, and dared to go beyond it on the wings of ideas, in the empty space of pure understanding. There is something splendid about innocence, but what is bad about it, in turn, is that it cannot protect itself very well, and is easily seduced. An age cannot bind itself, and ordain to put the succeeding one into such a condition that it cannot extend its, at best, very occasional knowledge, purify itself of errors, and progress in general enlightenment. That would be a crime against human nature, the proper destination of which lies precisely in this progress, and the descendants would be fully justified in rejecting those decrees as having been made in an unwarranted and malicious manner. The touchstone of everything that can be concluded as a law for peoples lies in the question whether the people could have imposed such a law on itself. As nature has uncovered from under this hard shell the seed for which she most tenderly cares, the propensity and vocation to free thinking, this gradually works back upon the character of the people, who thereby gradually become capable of managing freedom. Finally, it affects the principles of government, which finds to its advantage to treat men who are now more than machines in accordance with their dignity. In all judgments by which we describe anything as beautiful, we allow no one to be of another opinion. Enlightenment is man's emergence from his self-incurred immaturity. Marriage is the union of two people of different sexes with a view to the mutual possession of each other's sexual attributes for the duration of their lives. Nothing is divine but what is agreeable to reason. The people naturally adhere most to doctrines which demand the least self-exertion and the least use of their own reason, and which can best accommodate their duties to their inclinations. Only the descent into the hell of self-knowledge can pave the way to godliness. An action, to have moral worth, must be done from duty. But although our knowledge begins with experience, it does not follow that it arises from experience. Experience without theory is blind, but theory without experience is mere intellectual play. Nature is beautiful because it looks like art, and art can only be called beautiful if we are conscious of it as art, while yet it looks like nature. Without humanity and his potential for moral progress, the whole of reality would be a mere wilderness, a thing in vain, and have no final purpose. It is the duty of philosophy to destroy the illusions which had their origin in misconceptions. Whatever darling hopes and valued expectations may be ruined by its explanations. To be is to do.